Hey folks, it's Johnny Boy, and I'm here to review Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List. Most of you have probably not heard of this film, and maybe that's for the better. It's a cheesy, pretty bad movie with a lot of good-looking actors who don't have a lot to do except to look pretty. It's clearly meant for consumption by hip millennials, and as I'm one of those, I figure I'm the perfect choice to review it. This movie's got a lot of problems, and I'm going to delve into those problems in this video review. Just from the way the movie begins, you know you're in for a questionable slice of entertainment. It just starts, after a brief establishing shot of New York and a title that it's a Kristen Hange film. Now, maybe that's okay if you're Scorsese or Kurosawa or some kind of auteur, but if you're the director of a movie called Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List, I hardly think you have the cinematic clout to call it your film. Why do they kiss each other on the lips? What kind of strange, sick pairing is this? I don't mean to sound like an old man here, but isn't a lip kiss reserved for your partner? Your, boyfriend or girlfriend? I don't know. I've never even hugged a girl before, so maybe I'm not the expert on this. After some cringeworthy, clever, establishing dialogue, we get to my favorite shot of the film. Whoa! Why? Who thought, hey, you know what we need? The camera to flip 90 degrees while the characters are getting their fucking mail. It's baffling. Fuck you, Kristen Hange. Now we get to another admittedly minor problem with the film. The lens distortion. This film uses an either really cheap or really old anamorphic lens, which accounts for the warped image on the sides of the frame. This can be a cool look if used correctly. But the thing is, for the first half of the movie, the director frames a lot of shit on the edges, so you end up with characters looking like they just emerged from a Willy Wonka contraption. Why did the filmmakers feel the need to shoot an anamorphic anyway? That's usually a format reserved for action movies and epics, not so-called comedies like Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List. Whatever, I guess it doesn't really matter. Naomi and Ely graciously take a moment out of their busy days to describe the No Kiss List for us.
The No Kiss List is meant for all truly, madly kissable boys like Robert Pattinson here.
It hurts knowing that person's lips will never touch yours because of our ever so sacred vow of no kissing.
I have a lot of problems with the No Kiss List. Why do they have to have a list? Why can't they just discuss the guys they've mutually agreed not to fuck like normal people? What happens if the list falls into the wrong hands? That'd be embarrassing. Also, some of these pictures of guys on the No Kiss List are clearly children. Are Naomi and Ely pedophiles? Probably. Naomi and Ely walk to school, but not before cruelly throwing starbursts into a street performer's guitar case. I think you can start to see the flaws in the movie here. Naomi and Ely are terrible people. They're insufferable, really. And that's kind of a problem for a movie that desperately wants you to like its lead characters, which is why it shows them doing such quirky things like trying on wigs and twerking. What kind of monster casually tosses candy at a street performer? The last thing this guy needs is candy. His teeth are probably already in pretty bad shape if his main method of survival is playing guitar on sidewalks. We find out that one of Eli's gay moms had an affair with Naomi's dad, because, all lesbians are just waiting for a man to dick them down and turn them straight. I really find this plot point to be obnoxious. For a film that headlines a gay character, you'd think they'd handle the subject with a little more sophistication than the lesbian suddenly remembered she was a lesbian thing. Anyway, Naomi goes to class and gets called out by her professor for not paying attention.
Are you finding it difficult to concentrate on our discussion of Freud and the unconscious?
Wait a minute. Would a professor of a class that size really stop her whole lecture because one idiot kid is daydreaming? I don't think so. Professors don't give a shit what you do in their class, as long as you're not burning the entire building down like I did. They cared then. But in all my 8 years of community college, no professor ever stopped class whenever I was daydreaming about movie star Katherine Heigl. We meet Bruce too, Naomi's boyfriend. He creepily takes footage of Naomi through the window with a stupid hipster camera. And he's got nice teeth. Take note of that. It'll come back later. He tells Naomi the title of his documentary.
I think I decided on a title for my student film. Hot Child in the City.
Excuse me? What kind of pervert thinks children are hot? What's with all the pedophiles in this movie? Fuck you, Kristen Hongi. Naomi and Eli go to the park where the hot doorman they both drool over, Gabriel, is conveniently playing a game of basketball and looking very sexy indeed. At this point, Naomi takes the no-kiss list out of her bag. Wait, what? Are we to accept that she carries the no-kiss list with her at all times? Do these two run into sexual conflict so often that they have to carry the no-kiss list on their person 24/7? We come back to the apartment building, where a wacky cast of characters conveniently happen to hang out in the lobby like no one ever does. We meet Bruce 1 and find out he's been in love with Naomi since he was like 7 or something. Why is everybody in this movie a giant creep? He also tells us that one day he was in the elevator and Naomi just started making out with him. The more you know about these characters, the more you start to despise them. Why does Bruce 1 have a crush on a girl that's so clearly sexually manipulative? We also get more of everybody's favorite character, Mr. McAllister. Does anybody in real life have the name McAllister? It just sounds like one of those movie names that's so obviously phony any self-respecting screenwriter would avoid using it. Creepy Naomi goes into Eli's room and falls asleep in his bed. Whatever happened to boundaries? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be happy to come home from a good fucking to find some whore snoring on my bed. Naomi gets mad at Eli for being his own person and having sex, at which point she utters the line,
"We're 21st century New Yorkers. We don't believe in God. We don't believe in anything."
Whoa.
Yikes. It's a line clearly written by an older person who thinks they've nailed the mindset of millennials. Naomi gets mad at Eli for being gay and getting more dick than her and asks him if he's totally gay now.
So, now you're like, totally gay?
Does Naomi even know what the word gay means? It means happy. Idiot. Bruce 2 comes to pick up Naomi. Eli comes down and tells Bruce that she'll be down in a minute because she's
just bleaching her lady beard.
Bleaching her lady beard. What kind of awful friend announces that to the whole hotel lobby? Something is wrong with these people, I'm telling you. Also, why do Bruce 1 and Bruce 2 look so similar? Are they supposed to? Couldn't they have found two actors who look slightly different? What if they cast a minority person in the Bruce role instead of relegating the only person of color besides street performer Otis, of course, to wise friend status? Oh well. Everybody knows New York City is made up almost entirely of white people. Also, why do these assholes say bye like that?
Bye!
Bye!
Could they be any more annoying? Naomi goes to Bruce 2's dorm room and is afraid to take her top off because she was once on a Nickelodeon show.
Take your top off?
Do you want me to?
Naomi trips the next day and her and the hot doorman share a moment over a dropped tampon. Then Naomi goes upstairs to find her mom smashing a wall. Hell, I'd smash a wall too if my daughter was as annoying as Naomi. I guess I should talk about the whole mom thing. See, Naomi's mom is super depressed because her husband cheated on her with a lesbian and then left. So she's in a so-called pharmaceutical haze. It's one of those things the movie doesn't entirely get wrong, but doesn't dig deep enough to extract any insight from. So it just becomes one of those things you shrug your shoulders at, like a woman performing an abortion with a spoon. Naomi goes to find Eli at a bar and tries to get in, but she's not sexy enough.
Hi, I'm here with Eli.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
So she goes behind a dumpster and becomes instantly attractive. This works for the bouncer and he lets her in. Naomi sees Eli kissing a man and is revolted and leaves. She bribes Bruce 2 with sexuality so she can spend the weekend in his dorm.
Only because you're so damn cute.
Then we go to this scene in the library.
Rumor has it that you spent the weekend shacked up at Bruce's.
What? How would anyone know that she spent the weekend at Bruce's? It's not like the librarian is in the film program with Bruce. It seems to me to be a lazy screenwriting device to start the scene because the writers couldn't find an organic way to begin the conversation. But then again, I'm no expert. We meet Robin. Well, actually, this girl's named Robin too. What's this movie's deal with name repetition? How hard is it to come up with a different name for the stoner guy? Anyway, Robin seems like he's been transplanted from another movie. A movie that's funnier, stupider, and just plain more fun than the one we're watching. And then, of course, there's the obligatory, shush, this is a library joke.
No way.
Shh. This is a library.
Has that ever been funny? Robin tells Naomi something she desperately needs to hear.
Eli is gay, and that's never gonna change.
I know.
Wait, what happened? Why did the scene end like that? You could have at least shown them putting some books back on the shelves to bookend the scene. Bookend. Also, this gets to the whole Naomi is in love with Eli bit, something that's kind of alluded to here and there, but isn't really explored in any detail. The movie just kind of forgets about it halfway through. I wish I could forget things as easily as this movie does. Bruce 2 shows up in the apartment building and for some reason runs into Eli. This is the first time we get to see Pearson Fode's hot six-pack abs, so the movie gets a point for that. They sit down and have a discussion about superheroes that's not at all on the nose. And then the unthinkable happens. Eli gives Bruce a smooch. Oh no! What's with this movie's depiction of sexuality? First, it's the lesbian who isn't really a lesbian, then it's a straight who isn't really a straight. It might be okay if the movie was trying to make some point about the concept of sexuality being fluid and sometimes difficult to define, but it's not nearly intelligent and nuanced enough to pull that off. The character's sexuality is just conveniently sideswept for plot purposes. Maybe if we understood Bruce's sexuality a little more. Maybe if we ever got a reason as to why him and Naomi are dating in the first place. How did these two even meet? Their relationship is extremely vague. From everything else in the movie, Bruce 2 seems like the archetypal straight guy, besides his love for Lost in Translation, a movie clearly intended for a homosexual audience. Why else would the filmmakers cast teen heartthrob Bill Murray in the lead role? There's no reason besides that to suspect Bruce is anything but straight, which I guess makes for a surprising scene, but it's not at all satisfying. The filmmakers could have given us at least a couple hints as to Bruce 2's true nature as a gay man. Throw us a bone, Kristen Hange. This is your film, after all. Take some responsibility. The next day, Eli reveals to Naomi he kissed Bruce too.
I really did kiss him.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it more than I do.
What kind of response is that? This asshole just told you he made out with your boyfriend. Maybe she's in denial, but it just doesn't register as an authentic reaction. Eli even says at one point you didn't put him on the no-kiss list. Are you serious? Bruce 2 is your best friend's boyfriend. Are you that delusional that you expect your best friend to be okay with you kissing her boyfriend because he wasn't on some childish, facile list? What kind of a shitty person are you? Bruce 2 shows up at Eli's apartment on Halloween. He's not wearing a costume, so a point off the movie for that. Naomi comes in and Eli hides Bruce in the closet. Get it? Finally, Naomi lets loose about how she really feels about Eli kissing Bruce.
You make out with my boyfriend, and I'm not being fair?
You know what? I don't know.
Thank you. At least someone in this movie is finally calling out Eli for his shitty behavior. But then the movie's too afraid to criticize Eli for fear of being homophobic, so the scene ends pretty quickly. Eli tells Naomi he forgot something so he can go back to talk to Bruce too.
I forgot something.
What'd you forget?
My dick. You can't possibly expect me to go anywhere without my dick, right, Naomi? 2 seconds.
You forgot your dick? Is that really the best you could come up with, Eli? God, you're almost as pathetic as my ex-wife. Eli goes back to the apartment and tells Bruce 2 to stay in the closet for the rest of Halloween. Asshole.
I want you to stay.
Bruce 2 tells him to say he forgot gum, even though Eli already made an extremely poignant excuse with the whole my dick thing. Naomi puts together that the gum came from Bruce 2 because he's the son of dentists and Eli only chews bubblegum. Again, this is the kind of thing that could have easily been fleshed out more in the script. Why not at some point earlier in the movie have Bruce 2 pull out a pack of Orbit? This would have given us a setup and a payoff, but this movie's more interested in letdowns and paydays. There's the he has nice teeth line, so at least that's something. Still, I just wish a little more care and effort went into the screenplay. We get some more of Naomi's overt sexual manipulation and her and Eli split paths. She goes to Robin's apartment and spills her guts. Not that she has any, as she blatantly states that she doesn't care about war or injustice or global warming.
I know it's a big bad world out there with war and injustice and global warming and people clubbing baby seals. I'm sorry. I care most about the Naomi and Ely bubble.
It's like the movie is trying to give us more reasons to hate these characters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't care about those things either, but as a fugitive, I don't have much time to think about anything besides evading my imminent capture by Interpol. The crew decides to go to Gabriel's band's show, and this is where we get to listen to one of the worst songs ever written. I'll read the lyrics for you because you really need to hear these words divorced from music. Upside down, my whole world is changing, spinning round and out of control. I should be letting go. Still, I'm holding on to you, 'cause I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. Drowning with you, stranded alone. Can someone say yikes? I didn't know it was possible to write a song that cliche. If you took all the cliches from every pop song ever produced, put them into a blender with copious amounts of eyeliner, Hot Topic jeans, and a dash of tween suicide, you'd get this shitty concoction. I don't know about you, but I would definitely try to get as far away from Gabriel as possible after seeing him give life to a song as painfully horrific as that. Naomi and Ely walk past everybody's favorite character, Otis, at conveniently the same time. Naomi literally looks at him and shakes her head for some reason. If I was everybody's favorite character, Otis, I'd chase down Naomi and bludgeon her to death with my guitar. But I'm not Otis, as much as I may want to be. Naomi gets a job at a cupcake place, even though she's hopelessly incompetent. Eli and Bruce kiss in a park like a happy couple. Naomi turns Robin sexy and starts dating sexy man Gabriel, and in general starts to succeed in life now that she doesn't have terrible person Eli holding her back. But it only takes one line from Robin to convince her to go back to Eli.
Remind me again why you and Eli are still fighting.
And she even says Eli was just being who Eli is.
Eli was just being who he is.
I mean, I guess it's true because Eli is a terrible person, but why is she so quick to gloss over the fact that Eli kissed her boyfriend and barely apologized for it? Stay away, Naomi. But of course, the movie needs the pairing to get back together, and so they sit in the cafe and reconnect, and then the movie ends. So that was Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List. It's not a terrible movie, it's just not especially good. The actors do their best with what they're given, I guess, and there's some decent chemistry between the two leads. But the characters are just so unlikable. I don't care about white people problems, especially if the white people are as annoying and self-absorbed and downright cruel as these two. I also take issue with the fact that this movie just isn't funny. The thing is, it doesn't really try, besides some tired quips. The movie works better as just kind of a schlock romance, and it's generally okay with being schlock, even if it does think it's way cleverer than it actually is. Well, that's about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and give Otis a starburst. Bye, folks.